Welcome to Becoming a Principal, the podcast for aspiring educational leaders. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Matt. Our mission is to inspire and support educators considering leadership roles so they can add value to the communities they serve.
How's it going?
Great.
Did you have a good day?
This is one of those days you're like, what happened today?
You say that every day.
Yeah, it's true. Well, there are some slower days for sure where you can, meet with more kids or connect with teachers, get into classrooms, things like that. Today was a busy day.
It's a busy day.
Yeah.
And we got a big event going on here tomorrow night.
Yeah, we do.
So I don't know if you feel it the same way. I guess maybe I feel a little bit, what's the word? Nervous excitement for it, I would say.
Yeah, you want to make sure it goes well.
That's right.
Right?
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And, we have some staff that have done some amazing work to get it to this stage where we're inviting a lot of people to our community for a pretty cool social justice event.
And I was just going to say, it's no sweat off you. Hey, it's all these other people who are...
Oh, no, they're working hard.
Who are working hard owning it.
About it, but I'm not doing any of the work.
Yeah.
I'm sweating with doing no work.
Yeah.
It's like the weirdest thing, right?
Yeah.
How is that possible? But I'm doing no work, and I feel like I'm sweating.
There you go.
Right? So, yeah,
that's not entirely true.
But that's how it works in the role sometimes, right? Like, you feel the heat, but, I'm not the one doing the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm just happy to be here to support and don't mind putting in that, feeling the heat for that. Right?
Yeah.
It's a good cause.
There you go.
All right, so today, I sent Matt a tweet the other day that I loved. Tweet on X, our favorite platform. Right? It's amazing. Anyway, I follow and have followed for a while Tim Ferriss. I just started with the 4-Hour Work Week, which clearly I'm not achieving, but that was the first book I read from him. Anyways, he's got a great podcast, lots of philosophical things that he throws out there about productivity and just great life advice essentially. But this quote came through in one of the tweets he had, and I sent it to Matt, and I thought it would be a good thing to talk about as it relates to school leadership. And the quote is, "It is impossible to get better and look good at the same time. Give yourself permission to be a beginner." That's Julia Cameron from The Artist's Way. So that is a very great quote, one that I think we can lean into time and time again as we take on new things or new challenges. What do you think? When I sent that to you, what was your first thought about how that relates to kind of the podcast and what we're doing and just our role as administrators?
Yeah, I think this takes the imposter syndrome to the next level, right? Where by that, I think you get into the role and you're like, what am I doing in this role, right? And you're like, I don't belong. I'm not prepared for it. I don't have the training. This is really out of my comfort zone. All those things that go with it. But then you kind of get into a groove, right? By Christmas, right? You're starting to feel a bit better. Not that you've mastered anything, but you're starting to feel a bit better. You get some of the procedures down. You're connecting with people. You're building relationships. And then I do feel like this is kind of the next step in my progression anyway, where you're thinking man, I'm just not nailing it the way I want to nail it, right? But you're working on it too, and you have to be both. And I had a teacher come and ask me yesterday about, it's your second year now. Are you feeling like you're making the impact you thought you'd make in the role? I was like, absolutely not, right? I'm just not there yet. And it's what did we hear at our admin conference? What was that phrase? You are like a masterpiece, but yet an unfinished product at the same time, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And I think that there's a lot of that in this role.
Absolutely. But just to clarify, you are making an impact.
Thanks, Jordan.
Yeah, you definitely are.
Thanks. But do you know what I mean, though, right? I'm not sitting there thinking I'm nailing it the way I want to nail it.
Right. Or that, right? Look, I've made it sort of thing. Yeah.
And it's okay that it's not coming yet, right? But it's just recognizing that you're still working on it and you're still going to get there.
And it might not feel like it ever happens. I don't know. It's possible, right?
There's probably
keep
that too.
Aspiring for more and keep trying to learn more. But, what I got from that is exactly kind of how you described it. It's almost like you want, the temptation is to want to look good in some cases instead of be good. But in order to be good, it could look bad.
Yeah.
Or look ugly. There's going to be some awkward moments. There's going to be some times where it didn't come out as clean as you thought because you're putting yourself out there and entering new territory, right?
Yeah.
When you're having a courageous conversation, for example, the first time you go at it, you're entering into uncharted waters as an administrator when you're sitting on that side of the table having a conversation with this person that was just your colleague, for example, a year prior or whatever. Your first time having that conversation, that's uncharted territory. Right? So it's probably not going to look great, and your temptation might be in that moment to try and look good and look together and look the part. But in order to get better at those things, it's not always going to look good.
Right.
So I think giving yourself permission, like it says, to be a beginner and know that it's going to come off ugly sometimes, like it's almost a necessary part of becoming better.
Right.
Right? Do you agree with that?
Yeah. And I'm thinking, too, about what you're just saying there reminds me of Adam Grant in one of his books. Oh, I'm not going to remember the name right now, but he's talking about the different types of, persuasion or different types of people. And, you can be a lawyer where you're there and arguing. You could be a preacher where you're just telling people your beliefs and what should happen, right? But I think in this role you have to be a scientist. And it's kind of like you're going there and like you're saying, you're just testing it out and you're seeing what works in that situation. What kind of language are you using? What's your approach with different staff or different families or students or whatever? And taking the time to reflect and evaluate, how did that go with that in that scenario? And if it didn't go so great, think about, okay, how could you approach it the next time? If it went well, is that something that's repeatable? Is that going to work with the next family that you're going to talk to or the next staff member? Unlikely, right? Because every situation is so different, but it's having the opportunity to think like a scientist in a way and reflect in order to grow.
Yeah, that's a great point. And it's imperfect. It's like your best guess at what's going to make something go well.
Yeah.
Like you can come in well planned, and you still have to have the mindset that it might not go according to plan. Just like our days sometimes can unravel. But you're as a scientist, you're experimenting.
It's just an experiment.
You're experimenting with this technique, that technique, and sometimes it's going to be a flop. But the point is that you keep experimenting.
Yeah.
Right? And that you need to. And be okay when it does flop.
Yeah.
Like be able to pick yourself up quickly when, that didn't go well. I've had a bunch of those.
Right.
Like, that wasn't the right approach. So, like, but you just have to pick up the pieces and move on.
Yeah.
And being comfortable enough to chalk it up to being, like, a beginner. I think a lot of people, again, with like you talked about imposter syndrome, feel like they have to have all the answers right away when they step into the role. You're never going to have all the answers, even if you've been in the role for a long time.
Yeah.
Right? So, but at the beginning, the temptation is to look like you got it all together. But giving yourself permission to just say, hey, like, this is just my first goal.
Yeah, and I think it's good to be open with that, too, because, I think about the Ontario Catholic Leadership Framework, right? And trying to secure accountability for what the mission of the school is and our mission as Catholic leaders and our role here. And in order to build trust with people. And you don't have a lot of interactions on a regular basis with the whole staff. So when you do, you really want to try to nail it. But at the same time, you have to give yourself permission and maybe communicate it to staff in a way that, like, hey, we're going to try this, but if it doesn't go as expected, we're still going to pivot. Or as I get new information, we're still going to pivot because now there's a better next step, right? And I think some people may find that frustrating, for sure. Some people do. But I think that's an important thing in order to communicate, to secure that trust in your staff too.
Absolutely. And there's no surefire way to get something done, like we've talked about before, right? So it is that idea that we're going to keep iterating and keep getting better. And that is leadership, like reflecting on something and saying that didn't go well, let's try something new. Or reflecting on it and saying what is going well here, let's keep some of that stuff going. That's a big part of, I think, being an effective leader. And again, you just have to remind yourself that sometimes it's not going to look pretty. And sometimes those blunders are like a real good opportunity for reflection as well. Like when you feel you really botched something, it's there's an opportunity, right, to reflect on how you can make it better next time. And sometimes it does shine some light on what you do need to improve. Right?
Absolutely.
And there was another one I didn't send to you, but I guess it was my day on X. I take one day every month or something to just take a look at what's going on there.
Let's hear it.
I love this one. So I don't know if you saw it, but it's from Emily Pascal, and the quote was, the quote's from Max Lucado, but what she posted was the quote, which was, "Dogs don't bark at parked cars." So what she wrote as her sort of commentary on that was that this is such a powerful quote. the reality is that people won't find fault in those who rest in the land of mediocrity. So basically, are doing nothing like a parked car. The people who endure the most criticism are highly motivated, and as long as you're standing still, then no one will complain. So the temptation sometimes is, as a leader, to not ruffle any feathers because there won't be any criticism. But that's not real leadership, right? So the idea that you're going to keep pushing boundaries, knowing you're going to potentially be open to criticism, is a big leadership skill. And I don't know if you found that in your experience so far, that you do need to kind of push the boundary to move things forward. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, when you're trying to stretch people's thinking, or you're challenging them on how are they supporting kids and their approach, the type of programming they're leading, something more simple about the way they contact home, right, and their approach to that. We're always doing coaching in our job. Absolutely. I've realized that's actually a daily activity that we engage in as coaching, right? Whether that is because you've got an email, a student has been sent down to the office, you just had a teacher walk into your office and they're talking about something. We're always doing that coaching because they're coming to us looking for advice or asking for permission to do something, looking for support on a student, talking about programming in their own classrooms, talking about assessment. There's so many things. So it just shows you how diversified you have to be, I think, and really true to your own values too, so how to guide those conversations.
Absolutely, and it's interesting because I think there's temptation sometimes in certain positions to fear the unknown or the thing that's never been tried before. So when someone comes to you with an idea that's never really occurred before anywhere, I think it's easier to just say no, because nobody's going to criticize you if it never sees the light of day. It takes a lot of courage to back somebody and support somebody's idea that is not fully tested. Right, so I think as a leadership skill as well, I try to remind myself often is to, when people come to me with something, it's that thought again, how am I supporting this growth? I believe myself to be someone who wants people to be innovative and fosters a culture of that in my actions and my openness towards things. But I do have to remind myself that there are some limitations to what we can say, yes and no to. But to be innovative and open to that approach, I think you do have to have a mindset of let's go somewhere we've never been, right? I don't know if you've experienced that. For me, I get inspired by that. I get inspired when someone comes to me with an idea I've never heard before. I'm like, oh, right. This is it's interesting. Or they come with an idea of, I want to improve something we did before, and this is my idea for it. Does that jack you up or what?
Yeah, that's how you get your energy from people like that. That's what I think, right? That's why, we participate in board level committees, or we're participating in what you're doing tomorrow night, right? Things like that. And that's because you're going to be there with a group of people who are trying to do something for the community, right? And that's energizing work. And you can see how teachers feel that same way too, right? And that's why people come to you and they even use the phrase use me more. I'm ready. I have energy.
That's right.
I want to contribute to this community.
That's right.
And I fully trust that that's the place that they're in, right? That is their mindset. So there's lots of people out there. So how do you tap into that potential?
Absolutely.
And then the hidden potential too for people who are energized and they want more, but we just got to find them.
All right. Got one more.
Yep.
Then I'll let you off the hook. Okay, I guess it was my day on social media yesterday.
It really was.
I had one more. I got to go back to my favorite guy. He's Kirby Smart, coach of Georgia Bulldogs.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, hold on. It's not about the cost of leadership. But he was talking about some of the students or the players on his team, student athletes, that don't get a chance to play and don't get playing time. And one of his biggest messages to them was, are you willing to work while you wait? I love it.
That's a good
Kirby's
one.
amazing.
Yep.
I got to find the clip for you. I'll send it to you later. But it's the question they asked him over and over while they're waiting for their chance or opportunity, next man up mentality. Are you willing to work while you wait? And what a mindset that is for people that might not get the first try maybe at a leadership role. Maybe they don't land the job they were hoping for. It doesn't work out for whatever reason. Are they willing to continue working while they wait? What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, again, I think it comes back down to your values, right?
Yeah.
And that values-driven leadership, knowing that there are going to be opportunities for everyone, right? If they're willing to put the work in and the time. In some cases, we don't always get an opportunity that we want, but it's going to come up. And it comes up for the people who do work while they wait too, right?
Because they're ready to seize the moment, right?
That's right.
People have asked me about doing their principal qualification courses and when and all that sort of stuff, like the timing and my advice always is if you've got the energy to do it, just do it now. I always say if it's in your mind and you're thinking about it and you're interested and you do feel like you can commit some time, then like start planning that out, right? Because you never know those opportunities are going to come knocking for you. When it's going to be available. And in these type of leadership roles, it's very cyclical, obviously in nature.
Yeah.
And sometimes the door's shut for a long time, and then all of a sudden it's wide open, and you just never know when that timing is going to be. So just doing the work to get ready so that when you're called, because we think it's a calling, I believe it's a calling, you're ready to walk through the door because you just don't know when it's going to be. It might not be when you want it to be all the time, and I've experienced that already in my career. But that was probably a good lesson too.
Yeah.
Right? So like, are you willing to work while you wait?
Yeah.
Love it.
I see that in our staff too, who they were hoping for opportunities like a headship or, a consultant position or something like that. And they're the right people for those jobs when they've been turned down and they're still putting the work in and their time in.
That's right.
And they have a lot to offer. They're going to get a chance.
Yeah,
they will have a chance to lead.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I think the big thing for those people, and when I was in that position too, is to stay ready, work, but also stay coachable.
Yeah.
To feel that you've arrived just because you've put yourself out there a few times. It's like you just got to keep doing it. It doesn't stop. Like for you, I know in your role, Matt, it doesn't stop. People keep asking you for things to lead this, lead that. Like just because you got to the VP role doesn't mean people are like, oh, like Matt's a VP now, he's not going to do all these other things or these leadership initiatives. Like people keep coming to do things. You keep showing up to lead more and more and more. Same thing while you're waiting. It doesn't just stop when you get into sort of like a leadership pool, for example, right?
Right.
You got to continue to grease the groove and keep working and keep leading, right?
Yeah, we have never arrived in what our role is. I totally agree. Yeah.
Keep working.
Yeah.
Okay, so work while you wait. That's it. I'm done with X.
Well, that was an interrogation today. I didn't expect that.
A little bit. Yeah, that was just like a random Jordan scroll of his social media, but totally inspired by it.
Okay, there you go. I'll be more prepared next time for what this could have
You bring your
looked like.
social scrolls to me
Yeah,
next
there
time.
you go.
Okay.
Everyone, thank you for listening to Become My Principal podcast. We are grateful for the time you've spent with us today, and we hope to have been helpful to you in some way. Be sure to check out our Instagram at Becoming a Principal Podcast. Have a great day, everyone.